Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about the IIM Ahmedabad's BPGP, which is the Blended Postgraduate Program in Management. Now, IIM Ahmedabad offers a lot of programs. They offer 2-year full-time MBA programs, they offer PhD programs, the 2-year online or hybrid MBA program, and then a lot of executive education programs as well. So we're going to understand what makes the BPGP program unique, what are the features of this program, what is the application timeline and what are the requirements to apply, and whether you should be applying to this program or not. So in this video, we're going to cover all of these things. So let's get started. Now the first thing that we need to understand is what this program is about. Okay, so this is a 2-year long duration program. So a lot of MBA programs, when you look at them, they are 2-year MBA programs. There are of course the 1-year full-time MBA programs as well. But this program is a 2-year long program. But it is not going to be conducted on the IIM Ahmedabad campus. Okay, now this program got a lot of attention last year, and some of you may have read that in the news as well, when Navya Nanda got into this particular program. So there was a lot of discussion on whether this program is really equivalent to an MBA program or not. And while we are discussing, we are also going to touch upon these points as to whether this program is the right program for you or not. So how this program is going to be delivered, or how it's delivered, is it is delivered in an online synchronous mode. Now what is online synchronous mode? It means that the sessions are delivered online. So most of the sessions of this particular program are going to be delivered in a live online format directly to your device. It means that you can sit at home and or let's say you are in office, and from that convenience you can attend your session. So the sessions are going to be conducted 4 times during the week. I'll also cover that as part of the discussion. So this complements the on-campus modules that are also there, right? So you're going to have the on-campus modules wherein every term you're going to be spending around a week on campus. Okay, so the online synchronous mode that is there, all those sessions get complemented by this particular on-campus modules that you have. Now, who is this program for? So this is a program for professionals, right? So students who have some level of work experience, and once we talk about the eligibility, we'll cover how much work experience you're going to need. Now, people who want to balance between a professional career and academic learning, right? So people who don't want to quit their job. So a lot of times it's possible for some students to leave their job and go for a full-time MBA program, say a 2-year MBA program or a 1-year MBA program. But people who have significant work experience, for them it may not be possible to do that, or they may not even want to do it. They may want to continue to study along with their job, and this is the right program for such people. Now, a lot of you may have this concern that this is going to be delivered online. So will it match in terms of the quality education that you get from IMA for the regular PGP program? So the methodology remains exactly the same. The faculty members are going to be exactly the same. So the faculty who takes care of the PGP classes, they are also going to be there for these programs. So you don't really have to worry about the quality of the education that you're getting. The methodology that is followed, which is a case study methodology, that is exactly similar to what happens in the PGP program. Now let's understand the current batch profile. Okay, so if you look at the current batch, so the pioneering batch or the batch that started last year, so you have 138 students there, and 25% of the students are women students. Now if you look at the kind of demographics of the batch, 32 years is the average age. So this program is not for students who have recently graduated or students who have say 1 or 2 years of experience. It's not a program for you. This program is for people who come with sizable experience, and if you look at the average work experience, it is 8 to 9 years. So in the first year itself, IMA was able to get 138 students for this particular program. So definitely it shows that there is a lot of demand for such programs that offer quality education wherein people don't have to quit their job and they can continue in their career. Now the industries, of course, it has representation from all the industries, all the major industries and verticals if you see. So nothing much to discuss on that front, but if you are if you're somebody who is coming from, let's say, a different industry, you can always apply to this particular program, right? So they are not looking for specific industries that, okay, we want only people from say finance or people who have only worked in, let's say, automobiles and things like that. No matter what you have done, whether you are an entrepreneur, and if you see, there are a lot of entrepreneurs as well. So even if you are an entrepreneur, you have been running your organization or a setup for the last several years, and now you want to gain formal management education, you can definitely try out for this program. Now let's talk about eligibility and admission criteria. So when you look at the eligibility, who is eligible for this program? Working professionals and entrepreneurs. That is clearly something that IMA has mentioned, with a minimum of 3 years of full-time work experience after graduation. So the definition of work ex is very simple. After graduation, whatever work ex you have, it can be in the capacity of being a founder of a startup or an entrepreneur or somebody who is working in some organization, that is all accepted as on March 31st, 2025. So you need to have minimum 3 years of experience. Regarding age, there is an eligibility that you have to have 24 years, that's the minimum age. There is no upper age limit. And that is why you will see a lot of students who are applying will also have age that could be 30 plus and 40 plus, etc. Purely because this program is targeted at such individuals, right? So you could be somebody who is say 25, 26-year-old, and you may have your batchmate who are 30, 35, 40 years old as well, right? So it's going to bring about people with different experiences, different backgrounds, and different level of experience together under one roof. Now, what you also need to have is, of course, a graduation degree, right? So bachelor's degree, CA, CS, IHCWA, whatever degree that you have, that's okay, as long as you have a degree with at least 50% in your graduation, right? So that is what you are going to need. Now let's talk about selection process, because this is where a lot of you may have concerns that firstly, will I have enough time to prepare for this or not? So there are 3 things that you can submit, or any of them basically. You can submit your CAT score, right, if you have taken CAT. If you don't have CAT or GMAT score, so you can also submit GMAT GRE. If you don't have that, you can take the IMA admission test. Okay, so there are 3 things that they can accept. The first thing is going to be IIM Ahmedabad admission test. Now I'll talk about this test more as we progress. This test is designed for this specific program. Okay, so if you don't have CAT or GMAT GRE scores, you can take the IAT and then apply for the program. Now, if you have a CAT score taken within the last 5 years, you can submit that as well. If you have a GMAT or a GRE score, again taken in the last 5 years, then you can submit. Regarding GMAT GRE, there are some specifics. Firstly, GMAT Focus Edition will be accepted. That's not a problem. But the online GMAT GRE or take-home mode test, which were administered some time back, they will not be accepted, right? So your test has to be a test center attempt. Focus Edition is fine, but you can submit it as long as you have taken it in the last 5 years. Okay, so very simple eligibility on that front. You need to have minimum 3 years of experience, minimum 24 years of age, a graduation with 50% plus, and then any of these test scores. So those of you who already have taken CAT, you have already taken GMAT GRE, you can straight away submit those scores. But in case you don't have that, or you think that, okay, I have these scores, but they are very low, you should be looking at taking the IMA admission test, which is called IAT. Okay, so let's talk about this test also. As we progress, we'll do that. Now let's understand the timeline. Okay, so the registration for this particular program for this year's intake has already started. So it started on the 1st Jan, and the registration is going to continue till 25th March. Okay, so you have still some time before you do your registration. Now the IMA admission test, in case you end up applying for this particular test as well, even if you have, let's say, a CAT GMAT GRE score, as I mentioned, you want to still try for IIT, you can do that. That test is going to be conducted. So the admission test will, the admit card will be released on 27th March, and the test is going to happen on 6th April. Okay, so you have considerable time that you can use to your preparation. Now shortlisting is going to happen on 12th April, and then from 19 to 27th April, you are going to have interview rounds, and post that they're going to announce results on 13th May. They generally stick to timelines because last year's experience while we were helping Navya prepare for this particular test has been that they were very true to the timelines that were mentioned. They ensured everything was happening on time. Now from 1st Jan, as I mentioned, the registration has started and it will end on 25th March. Okay, so make sure that you apply before the deadline. Now fees with respect to if you are submitting only CAT GRE GMAT scores, it means that if you are not taking the IAT, then you have to pay 2,000 rupees for the application. If you are taking IAT, then it is 5,000, and if you are going to be taking IAT in Dubai, the fees is higher, it is $200. Okay, so figure out how you want to apply. I would suggest that if you are somebody who does not have a CAT GMAT GRE score, it's obvious that you will have to take the IAT. But if you if you have these scores and you think that it is not enough, then also you should be taking the IIT. But if you have, let's say, a high CAT or a GMAT GRE score, in that case you don't necessarily have to appear for IIT. Now let's talk about IIT, okay, because this is one test where limited information is available. So if you look at the format is very simple. It's a 90-minute test, 30 minutes for each section. There are 3 sections that are there. You have quant, analytical reasoning, and the verbal aptitude section. So it's very similar to CAT in that sense. Of course, the difficulty level is different. So if you look at the level of difficulty of quant, it is slightly lower compared to what you have on the CAT. The analytical reasoning is a lot of critical reasoning, verbal reasoning, and then the final thing is verbal aptitude, which is a mix of reading comprehension and then grammar questions, fill in the blank question, and so on. The number of questions total is 45 questions, 15 questions in each of the sections. So 15 questions, 30 minutes for each section. The negative marking, there is no explicit mention of whether there is negative marking or not. The sample question paper is available on IMA website. Now this paper does not it's not an entire paper. It gives you a glimpse of what kind of questions may appear, but it does not do complete justice to what the test difficulty is. So you'll have to prepare for this in case you're planning to prepare. Quite a bit of preparation is required for IIT as well, especially if you are somebody who hasn't studied mathematics for a very long time or any of these areas for a very long time. Then it brings us to this question that should you apply for this program, or is this program the right program for you? So firstly, do you get an MBA degree through this program? The answer is yes. And do you get an IIM Ahmedabad alumni status? The answer is yes. So for those of you who are concerned that am I going to get a proper degree, is it going to be approved and recognized by industry and things like that, you don't have to worry on that front, because you get an MBA degree the way everybody else does, and you're also going to get IIM Ahmedabad alumni status. Okay, it comes with full benefits that you get as part of the alumni network. The second thing is, can I complete it within 2 years, right? So because it also gives you an offer to do it over 3 years, but that is on a case-to-case basis. So don't think that this option is there to everybody. So there is a flexibility, but IIM Ahmedabad has mentioned that the duration of the program is 2 years, but just in case somebody, for whatever reasons, maybe it could be work commitments and things like that, if you're not able to complete it in 2 years, there's a flexibility to complete it over 3-year period. Okay. So, but then again, it's a case-to-case basis thing. It cannot be taken as as something that they will do for everybody. Next is, do you need to visit the campus? So, though the program largely is online, there are elements to it that are going to be in person. So as we discussed in the beginning, there's going to be an on-campus module. So you need to visit the campus, and it's typically 1 week in each term. Now, in this week, what happens is basically you start your program also with a week on campus. You go to the campus, you have regular sessions the way, let's say, a normal PGP student would have. So you have about 4 to 5 sessions every day. And then you're also going to have a lot of other industry interaction. You're going to have your quizzes and tests and things like that. So it's going to be very similar to what you have for, let's say, a regular PGP experience. But of course, a lot of it is going to be online, where rest of the time you are attending sessions from your home. You're collaborating with your peers, with your other students who are there in the program online, and you're working on various group assignments and things like that. That brings us to the next question: what is the effort that is required to do this program? So is it very similar to PGP? Now see, with respect to PGP program, the students are on campus, right? So they are staying there. So it's a different environment altogether. Here what happens is, because again it's a rigorous program, you are committing a long period to it. It's a 2-year program, that's a very long duration. You have to know that for these 2 years, you are going to make a lot of sacrifices, right? So how much commitment is required? You're going to have sessions on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays. So 4 times a week you have sessions. These are conducted on Thursday, Friday, Saturdays in the evenings, and then Sunday morning. So it's going to require a lot of commitment from your end, and as you saw, there are 138 students in the current batch who have decided to commit, and at the end of 2 years they're going to graduate with an MBA degree. So you have to figure out firstly whether you will also be able to put in the effort, whether you have that desire to put in that much effort or not. And again, it's also challenging because you are collaborating remotely with everybody else in the batch. All the learning material, so IIM Ahmedabad uses an LMS called Moodle. to organize all the content. So you're going to have a lot of exams and things like that, submissions, etc. online as well, and once you go to the campus as well. Now that brings us to another question that students have is, will there be placements? So clearly the target audience is different, right? This is not for students who have just graduated. This is for people who are already coming in with significant experience, and that is why it is clearly mentioned that there will not be any placement assistance. So if there is no placement assistance, some of you may be thinking, then what's the point of doing this program? So see, everybody looks at the program very differently. So somebody will say that there's no placement, so I'm not going to apply, and that could be a fair decision. But somebody will say that I already have a 15 years of experience of running an organization. I just want to learn management concepts. I want to build my network, because you're going to interact with a lot of people. And of course, the IMA alumni status that comes along is a nice thing to have. So if your goals are different, then this program will still make sense even if there is no placement assistance. So those of you who are thinking whether this 20 lakh that IIM Ahmedabad is charging, is that justified or not, considering they're not offering any placements? The answer is yes, but the answer will be different for different people. So as I mentioned in the beginning also, this program is not for everybody. You have to evaluate whether you see the value in it, and value is a relative concept, right? No two people will value something exactly similarly. So that is why you have to figure out whether it makes sense to you or not. There are of course loans that are available, so you'll be able to pay it off sooner or later. So that is generally not a concern. What you have to figure out is whether it makes sense to you or not, and how do you prepare. So it's important that you apply. If you're somebody who is matching the criteria that they're looking for, right, you apply and see what happens, and at the end of it you can decide whether you want to join or not. Okay, so a lot of students, of course, when they apply, they don't know, they may not be even clear that they want to do it, but they apply, they go through the process, they interact with faculty members, and then they realize that, okay, this is something that will still make sense to me. Okay, so those 138 students, for them it is making sense, and that is why they are doing the program. But as I said, it may not make sense to everybody. Now, how can we help you? Right? So, see, for this program, very limited information, first of all, is available in the public domain, because this is just the second year of the program. Of course, fortunately for us, we got to know a lot about it in the first year itself, because we helped students to prepare for the test. So, for those of you who are now planning to prepare for IIT, we have one batch which we are going to start very soon, and that batch is going to start from the 7th Feb. Now in this batch, it's going to be in a live online format, very similar to what you would have for the actual sessions as well once you convert IMA BPGP. So in this batch, there are going to be 30 live online sessions which will be delivered, and the batch timing is going to be in the evening, so convenient for all of you who have work experience. There are going to be 50 topic-wise tests, so that gives you ample practice as well in an online format. There will be 18 recorded masterclasses that we are going to give, which will again supplement the learning that you have. There will be 2 group mentoring sessions, which I will be driving as part of this batch. So I'm going to be one of the instructors for the batch. And then there will be 3 full-length mocks, which will give you enough practice. So the test requires a little bit of mock test practice as well, because you need to get used to solving questions under a time pressure. We also have another program which is one-on-one coaching. So we understand that some of you maybe do not need the entire batch. Maybe you just need help with, let's say, the verbal part of it or the quant part of it. In that case, if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, please do reach out to us. We will give you a link in the description from where you can check out the detailed course offering and how to reach us and so on. So all the things will be mentioned in the description of the video. So have a look at that. In case you're interested, if you have any questions, let us know. You can leave your question as a comment, and I'll try and get back as early as possible. So we covered everything about the IMA BPGP. In case you have any further questions, please let us know. I'll be very happy to answer. And if you are planning to apply, start your preparation as early as possible. I hope this has helped you. Wish all of you all the best, and I'll see you soon in some other session. Take care. Bye.